Welcome back to Our World with Black Enterprise. Around the country, marriage numbers are falling, but in the African American community, the numbers are especially grim. What does this all mean? Is marriage dead in the African American community? Joining me to discuss this are marriage coach Dr. Jacqueline Rosario, psychologist Dr. Jeff Gardier, and New York radio host and now playwright Esther Arma. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
When you all hear these numbers, I mean, what do you say? What's your first initial reaction when you hear that numbers are crumbling like this?
A cake, a ring, and a fly dress is not marriage. That's the business of weddings, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry that it feels like society's become addicted to. And without that, somehow, love is dead. The conversation, I think, should be about love and the commitment to that. Maybe a reimagining of Black love, but the idea that marriage as an institution is the be-all and end-all is really problematic.
But something has to be said for marriage, right? I mean, there was a point where people were getting married, and now they're not. It signifies something, right? I mean, what do you say?
Well, I think that certainly that there is an issue concerning marriage with the Black community, and I think that it needs to be delved into, simply because children's well-being is determined by the marital status of the parents. So if nothing for more than for the kids, we need to think about marriage.
That's right.
Resolving
That's
the
right.
issues that are plaguing.
And when we look at the statistics, we know that most of the youth who are at risk, boys and girls, come from, even though there's nothing wrong with the single-parent home, come from single-parent homes. And when we see that the father is not in that home, those are the kids who tend to be in trouble. They can't get identification. They need the modeling from the father. They've always gotten it from the mother, but they do need that viewpoint from the father. So yes, marriage is in trouble. I don't think it needs to be the goal that everyone shoots for, but we know that it is especially helpful, especially for the African American community.
But let's also note that 80% of the kids that are behind bars today are from single-parent homes. So I think we have to drill down.
But I hear, go ahead, no, Esther, jump in.
I was going to say, but is that just about marriage? Are we talking about the commitment to co-parent and create kids in healthy spaces and healthy unions, ring or no ring? You can have a healthy, loving relationship without standing at an altar. You can have a union that's same-gender loving, whether it's heterosexual, irrespective. The question is the health of the union, not the institution in which the union is formed. And I grew up, everybody around me, our parents were married. And there was a message that was, especially for women, stay. Stay if he beats you, stay if he kills you, stay if he hurts you, stay.
But let's be honest about it and let's be concrete. When you do have that piece of paper there, there are more dire circumstances or more of an incentive to stay married because it costs you money to get divorced, and sometimes people are saying, especially in this economy, cheaper to keep him, cheaper to keep her. In this economy, you have to look at marriage, a legal marriage, or even a partnership without that legality as far as being more than just a relationship. It's also a financial partnership, and it has more teeth when that paper is involved. That's just the reality.
But Jacqueline, part of what I'm hearing is that incentive to stay, at least what I think I hear Esther saying, is that part of that incentive to stay often keeps people in relationships that they shouldn't stay in, that are unhealthy.
If it's unhealthy, there's no question we shouldn't be in them. But I think that there's nothing wrong with the institution of marriage. It's just that people lack the relational skill sets to negotiate them. And so that's what we need to be talking about. And the fact is that the statistics are not there. There are not enough healthy models of two parents that are not together parenting the children, co-parenting. It's just not happening at the rate that it should.
Just to be clear, I am not against the institution of marriage. I am about respecting all the different unions in which healthy relationships are formed, and also where marriage may or may not happen, but to advocate for a healthy union and to advocate for each of us to be as emotionally healthy as we need to be. I call it emotional justice.
I want to focus on some of these numbers, even though it might make Esther's hair raise. These numbers of Black women who don't get married. Why are Black women not getting married?
There's a number of factors. You can talk about the fact that they lack suitable partners. We know that Black males...
Slow down. What's a suitable partner?
Suitable partner. Say you're an
someone who
educated
happens
Black
to be on
woman.
the street, like so many of us.
You mean as opposed to in jail? Gotcha.
Right. So then maybe those suitable partners are now incarcerated. They're not equally as educated as she is, do not have the traction in the job market that she does. So there's less suitable candidates for her.
So Esther, I mean, how do we deal with that stuff and not just point the finger at Black women as you talked about?
Here's my issue. This notion that you have to have matching resumes to create a healthy, loving, lasting union is problematic from jump.
Okay.
So my resume matches your resume, and then what? We have a better chance of having some long-lasting, healthy union. My way of measuring your ability to love is based on the years that you spent in a classroom. That's really what we're talking about in thinking about the judgment.
But don't
of
people
love.
tend to find people in their general vicinity? I mean, if you have a PhD in molecular biology, you may not date the guy at Domino's Pizza. No disrespect to the guy at Domino's Pizza, but you just may not even be in that same social space, right?
You may not, but this is part of my challenge, and this is what I mean by we need emotional justice, because your intellectual prowess or ability may have nothing to do with your emotional intelligence, your emotional capability, your understanding of what it is to love a man or a woman, to be present for that person, to be supportive of that person, to be able to love and nurture and be with a child.
If I have spent 10 years of my life being educated and I marry someone that doesn't, it's obvious from the onset that we have a different value system. I value education.
But let me pause it. How is that obvious? How is it obvious you have a different value system because one person?
What I'm saying is that, well, I did pursue that. That was very important to me. So the way that I'm going to now raise my children, let's remember, when you integrate children into this whole equation, things really change. The way that I want to bring my children up, now I'm going to really press education.
The reality is, it's very difficult when people from two different backgrounds come together.
Absolutely.
That being said, it doesn't make it impossible. Now, this is where you have to recreate yourself. You have to believe in yourself. If you want, you can go and get an education so you can get a better job, but you have to see what you can contribute in that relationship that's equal to what she does. If you can't put the money in, then can you be there with the child? If you can't have the educational attainment, then can you do something else that brings value to that relationship?
Esther, I'm gonna give you the last word. Where does the healing begin?
The healing always starts within. Who you choose to love still means you have to bring yourself to the table and deal with whatever situation you find yourself in, who you choose to be with. The fact that black women say that they can't find a man who they want to be with, the fact that black men say that, that is their truth in that moment according to how they've lived it, what they believe, and how they feel. But the reality is much, much simpler, that our emotional selves needs the kind of really serious, vigorous, community work. It's a collective effort, and it's a collective effort that requires a reimagining of black love. My point comes back to the same thing. A cake, a ring, and a fly dress is not a marriage. A marriage is about the union, the healthy union of two people getting healthy. Our emotional justice, our path to getting emotionally healthier is an important one. The foundation is love, and love heals all things.
Well, I would love to continue, but we're out of time. Jeffrey Gardier, Esther Armah, Jacqueline de Rosario, thank you so much for being here. I hope to have you back again very soon. Stay right there. We'll be right back.